I'm trying to spend some time with the family before flying back to Durban later. Please allow me some privacy and time with my family. I don't know what you mean by calling. I am a social worker, an experienced social worker, especially in family and marriage therapy and children. And I'm also a social anthropologist. I have a summarized CV, but I don't have it with me. I don't know what you mean by calling. I am, I'm an academic and a researcher and a social worker. And I'm a human rights defender. That's the most important thing. I'm a human rights defender. I have been for decades. I'm affiliated to an international organization called Frontline Defenders. And that's why I do this work. Not because I enjoy it. I do it because I care about every single human life and I care about justice for people. So if you mean by calling, it's a concern for human lives and justice. And that's why I'm doing it. And that's all there is really to say. And just one more thing. If what really concerned me about Parliament was that I had been asked to what should be prioritised, and I did that, and there was no discussion about really urgent issues like the state of the breakdown of policing in KwaZulu-Natal, near breakdown, emails not working, some phones not working, some members don't have a petrol for vehicles, not enough vehicles, some stations don't even have things like stationery. This is what I'm getting from police in different parts of the province. Right. Now, I would have thought that that was a priority because I don't know why they had to focus on the fact that I wrote a letter to the minister, because when Mkhwanazi made that ridiculous and actually in terms of police regulations unlawful, he should have gone to his national commander, his national commissioner, he should have gone to Parliament, he should have gone to the president if he needed to, through Masabola. Not public, completely against police regulations, senior police tell me. Right. Well, when he made that announcement, he didn't even mention, he was saying that the task team was disbanded because of its work on this, the syndicate in Gauteng. What did it have to do with me? So why is Parliament focusing on me? That's what I want to know. And as I said to you, there was a very thick dossier of appendices given to the Parliamentary Committee. And I said, this is what you need to do urgently. You can do it. They did. The one thing they did do was say, well, we might be able to push for an audit. Yeah, okay. But there were things that they need to do urgently, starting with implementing the legislation to restore civilian control to the intelligence services. And that's not sucked out of my thumb. That is from a report by Dr. Sidney Mufamadi, the security advisor of the president. 6 years ago, he chaired a panel about the creeping lack of oversight of our intelligence agencies. He said it is urgent that civilian control, which was initially in place before the Zuma presidency, civilian control must be enacted in legislation as soon as possible. It took 6 years for the Oversight Committee to enact that legislation last year. It was only signed into law this year. So, all this discussion, trying to, a lot of it irrelevant. What's it going to do with the price of eggs, as we say, where I was born? A lot of it was a waste of time. It was repetition. It was getting at me for writing a letter I never thought would be acted on. When the priorities for South Africa is dealing with crime, and that starts with crime intelligence and proper oversight of crime intelligence, and dealing with guns. And all this is in my, and that just wasn't mentioned. I think there was one mention of it. But those were the priorities. And yet they use it as an inquisition to get at me and to actually insult and defame me. So this is what I want to correct, this distortion, because I don't know what you mean by calling. As I said, my CV, get a copy of my summarised CV from Parliament if you need it. Get a copy of Appendix B, which deals with my whole history of doing this. I didn't suck it out of my thumb. I've been doing exactly the same thing for the last 40 years, of trying to get action taken by the police and other people and Parliament for at least 10 or 15 years.